Right. It's exactly 4 p.m. and you are welcome to the HR Roundtable, proudly brought to you by the HR Certification Center. So you want to know who is online and where you are joining us from. So kindly drop a message in the comment section. Let us know where you are joining us from. So you can say, hello, I'm Kwabena joining from Ghana. Hello, I'm Kwabena joining from Medina. Or hello, I'm Kwabena joining from Kaswa. So kindly drop a message in the comment section below and let's interact before we begin today's all-important discussion on what Gen Zs expect from work today. Right, so just looking through the comment section, let's see those who are online. So we are streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So we are streaming live on all these three platforms. You can do well to also share the link with your friends, with your colleagues, so that they can join in and we can have a very fruitful discussion. Everyone is actually invited, whether you are a Gen Z or not. You might be a Gen Z, a Gen X, or a Gen Y. You're all invited to today's discussion. So let's just go to the comment section. Who do we have online? Okay. Please do what to share the link with your friends, with your colleagues. You can share on your WhatsApp platforms, and so we can have a lot more people here and we can have a very fruitful discussion. Okay. Great. I can see Naomi Addison, Naomi from Accra. Thank you, Naomi, for joining. I can see Vanessa. Vanessa says joining from Westlands. Thank you very much, Vanessa Quay. Right. Who else do we have online? I can see Miga. I hope I got that right. Miga, yeah. This is Miga from India. Thank you, Miga, joining all the way from India. Thank you for joining in. All right. So let's go on. Now, as I said, this program is proudly brought to you by the HR Certification Center. The HR Certification Center is into leadership and human resource development, and our flagship program is the Global Professional HR Certifications, which are in two levels: the Professional in Human Resources International and the Senior Professional in Human Resources International. We are also the proud sponsors of the National HR Mentorship, which is a free program organized for those who want to have a footing in HR or those at the entry level of their HR career. Is a free 3 months program, which is totally web based. So if you're an HR practitioner and you are the entry level of your career and you want to boost your practice, you can join our next cohort of the National HR Mentorship. You can call this number 0244 122 I'll take the number again, 0244 122 Right. Now, let me share a few ground rules before we go into the discussion proper. Before that, I can see Scotia from Ghana. I can see Linda, that's Senna from Osu. I can see George joining from Ashali Botre. I can see Barbara from Ekropong. I can see Bernice joining from Ghana. Thank you all for joining. So, a few ground rules. For this particular broadcast, you will not be able to join in with a voice. So you can join in through text. So if you have any question, you can just send a comment. If you want to make any contribution, just send in a comment. I will read them. So as the program is going on, if you want to leave a comment, just drop it. Unfortunately, you cannot join with voice because we wanted to make the audio available for people to listen even after we are done. That's why we had to do it this way. Okay, so I'll be reading your comments intermittently, so please keep them coming. Now, I just want to hear from you all on the call this evening. When we say Gen Z, what comes to mind? When we say Gen Z, what comes to mind? Just drop your comments in the comment section and I'll read them out. When we say Gen Z, what really comes to mind for you? Or what do you think about, in a word, what do you think about when we say Gen Z? Now we are having this discussion on what Gen Z employees expect from their employers or what they expect from work. For the purposes of our discussion, Gen Zs are those born between the years 1994 and 2005. And this evening, I have three beautiful young ladies who are definitely Gen Zs who are going to be joining me to have this discussion. So I have with me Janet Emefa Agbedo. She is in the manufacturing and the paper manufacturing and agribusiness industry. She's a human resource practitioner and she is a human resource supervisor at where she works, and she has been working for 4 years. Then I also have with me here Michelle Gizo. Okay. Let me go to Medina. Okay, I also have with me Nana Madina Ibrahim. She is in the public sector. She's a human resource personnel and she's the assistant admin or HR officer. She has been working for 3 years. And I also have Michelle Gizo. Michelle is a banker. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our panelists for tonight, Michelle, Janet, and Nana. Let me start with Janet. Janet, how are you doing?
Hi, Kwabena. I'm doing great. Yourself?
Right. I'm doing super. Good to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Let me hear from Nana. Nana, how are you? Nana, I can hardly hear you.
Hi, Kwabena. I'm good. And you? How you doing?
Yes, I'm doing well. Nana, your voice sounds very faint. Can you come closer to your machine?
Is it better?
It's not better at all. I can hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you, Nana.
Okay, let me adjust and then I'll get back to you. I'm going on.
Okay, please do. All right, Michelle, good to have you here.
Hi, Kwabena.
Hi, how
Thank
are
you
you
for
doing?
having me. I'm
Right,
good. Yes,
super.
ma'am.
I'm good too. All right, so to our audience online, when we mention the word Gen Z, what comes to mind? Nana, are you here?
Yes, I'm back. And can you hear me?
I think it's better. I think it's better.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. So say again.
Happy to be here.
Super. Yes. Great to have you. So the the Association of Certified HRs in association with the HR Certification Center is running a survey or a research on how to manage and retain Gen Ys and Zs. We had a discussion on Gen Ys last week, and we are having a discussion on Gen Zs. So let me start with Michelle. Michelle, for you as a Gen Z, what is your ideal definition of work-life balance?
Hello, Kwabena.
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay.
Did you get
Can
my
I
question?
get the question? No.
Yeah, so I was saying that for you as a Gen Z, what is your ideal definition of work-life balance?
Okay. So my definition for work-life balance as a Gen Z is that I'm supposed to have time for my families, my hobbies, my interests, and then also I have to be able to, it shouldn't only be about work. I have to get time for myself to attend some programs, have fun, seminars, and So that's my
So that
definition for the work-life balance as a Gen Z. It's not all about work. I have to have time for my
yeah,
families, my hobbies, my interests, and then my
yeah.
health as well.
Great. Let me hear from Nana. Nana, what would be your ideal definition for work-life balance?
Right. And I hope you can hear me now loud and clear. Now,
It's
when
amazing now.
someone says work-life balance, for me, your work, the organization sees their work as important, right?
Yes.
But I see my mental health and my life and my social life also important. So what do? We need to create a balance. It's simply putting in measures or policies that will help us reach a mutual benefit. What is the mutual benefit? Having a work-life balance. The employer is happy, I am happy. Now, I know that most employers will see us as entitled. I'm sure that's how they call us, that we want it all. I mean, we are the Gen Z, we want it all. But really,
you want it all and you want it fast.
We want it all and we want it fast. But the
Yeah.
question we are asking ourselves is, so would you rather prefer that we exhaust ourselves just for you to be profitable, and then we will end up being weak and being down and not even in the perfect state of mind? No, I don't think that is what we want. And so basically, that is my definition of a work-life balance, a 50-50 situation, a win-win situation. Let us all be happy. Yeah.
Let us all be happy. All right. Emefa, let's hear from you.
Great. So finally, I'm very excited that we're talking about Gen Zs, because our generation is critical to the future of work and it's changing the workplace significantly. Yes, I mean, other generations see us as a problem, but in actual fact, we are an opportunity to be seized because we are challenging the status quo, we are questioning the systems, and we are pushing for a lot of changes. And work-life balance is one critical component. Now, vis-a-vis other generations, the X, the baby boomers, we see that this generation is so committed, yes, and the Y is so committed to work. The work takes so much precedence that they have little time to pursue their own hobbies and personal interests. So most of the time, they leave the workforce not really fulfilled. But what Gen Zs, what we are pushing for is that, yes, as stated, we are actually looking for that state of equilibrium, and we are saying that can be actually achieved. So we need to get to a point where we have time to still fulfill, contribute to the bottom line, and also pursue our personal interests. So at the end of the day, both benefit. So it's literally a win-win situation. And I think we are causing that to happen. So with work-life balance, you see we, the Gen Zs, pushing for flexible work schedules. So instead of the regular 9 to 5, for industries or companies that have room for flexibility, you see such companies allowing for, okay, so what time works for you? You still have to meet your 8-hour schedule. How do you want to go about it? Do you want to come in at 9 and finish at this time? So that is the point we are trying to get to, where the employer is respective of the needs of the Gen Z and seeing how best that balance can be struck. And I don't think this is a point we can get to now, but it's something we are pushing for. And I think a lot of companies are actually embracing that, where we can actually telecommute. We can work from anywhere, just making sure that we meet the bottom line and also have time to pursue our personal interests. So you see most of us, the Gen Zs, doing YouTube, building content, leveraging social media to do a lot of things, and not just stick with the traditional work approach. So this is a point we are trying to get to, and I think it's setting as an example for the rest of the generations to leverage this to help us reduce the mental health stress that is prevailing.
You know,
Amazing,
and to
amazing.
add to Michelle,
Yeah.
the funny thing about this work-life balance is we just don't want work-life balance. We want fair pay, we want value alignment, and we are willing to walk away if we don't get it. Now, that's the funny aspect, Pamela. I'll give you an example.
Madina, let's get there. Let's not jump the gun. We'll get there.
Okay.
Let's not jump the gun. So I'm getting from your submissions, the three of you, that for Gen Z, work-life balance is really being productive at work and also being fruitful in your personal endeavors. It's not just about the employer, but it's about the employer and the employee all being happy. Let it be a win-win situation. All right. I'll start this with MFA. So MFA, you know, diversity and inclusion has become a big thing nowadays. And doesn't matter to you if your company accommodates differences based on race, gender, equity, religion, and nationality, and really has policies to support such an agenda. Does it really matter to you, MFA?
Thank you, Pabna. Absolutely. It really, really does matter. Because now we are getting to a point where we are not just working with those that are in our jurisdiction. And it's about time organizations get to the point where this is embraced. Diversity is about representation. So in a company, I'm not just looking out for somebody who, I'm MFA, I'm literally an EVE. I'm not just only looking out for somebody who is an EVE. I'm looking out for representation. I want to see my colleague employees coming from different aspects of Ghana and outside Ghana, outside Africa. There has to be the representation where we are all able to learn from each other. But the challenge with inclusivity and diversity is that it's lip service. You find companies saying that, oh, we are diverse, we are inclusive, we are receptive to the opinions and ideas and the voices of everybody, but it's just lip service. When it comes to managers and leaders, some managers and leaders modeling these values, modeling diversity, ensuring that there is adequate representation, it's not visible. And it's about time we get to the point where we see visibility, we see representation, we see that people's voices are heard. And for we, the Gen Zs, we are coming with this huge drive. We are pushing for a lot of changes. But the question is, how do we even push for these changes? We want our voices to be heard at the workplace. How do we go about it? And I think that's where the challenge comes in. And as much as we want that autonomy, we want that flexibility, we want to be represented, we want to be heard in our creativity, our innovation, and our thoughts, and what we can do to better the system, we have to be mindful of the approach we assume. Now, you'll be at the workplace, you have a brilliant idea of how something has to be done. How do you go about it? How do you even communicate it? Most of the time, we are not humble, let me put it that way. But you see, we are dealing with different generations, the baby boomers, 1964, 1946, you are 1980s, 1970s. The workplace is diverse. So, in as much as we have this drive to get things done, we have to be mindful of the needs
I don't know
and
why.
expectation. Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, I think I have you.
Is it better now?
Let's go.
Great. So I'm saying that in as much as we are coming with this huge drive and we are pushing for a lot of changes, we have to be mindful of how we approach our opinions, how we get our voices heard at the end of the day. We want to be sure that we do it the right way, because we are dealing with different generations at the same time who have different needs and different expectations. So we should know how we can reach that equilibrium.
Great.
So example, you have a manager at the workplace. I mean, your team is towing towards a particular trajectory, but you feel as a Gen Z that, oh, when we actually leverage this approach, we are likely to get there faster. How do you churn out your views? How do you go about it? Do you just burst out? I think there are proper channels to relay our opinions in a way that wouldn't signify that we know it all. Most of the time, we feel that we are not heard, but most of the time is because the channels are not good, the timing as well. So in as much as we are changing the system, we are causing a lot of changes, we have to be receptive and oriented towards the environment we find ourselves so that our voices will be heard and a lot of changes will take place. And also in organizations, in my company, we have, in terms of diversity, we have Cultural Day. And now in terms of even appearance, there is room for you to wear your Ghana outfit, African print, and all of that. That is the organization being accepted.
So in totality, so MFA is saying that for you, so into that for you as a Gen Z, you want to feel heard, and you don't want the idea of diversity and inclusion to be practiced. Really, it should show in how information is shared across. It should show in how you are accepted as an individual, right? Let me hear from Nana.
Yes.
Nana, what does diversity and inclusion really matter to you?
Of course, Kwabena, it matters. And for me, I see diversity as being invited to the party. And I see inclusion as being asked to dance. Why am I saying this? Of course, I want to work in an organization that sees unity amidst diversity, that sees a lot of diverse people coming together to mutually support and respect despite our differences. Now, for example, I know people will say because I'm in the public sector, so there's room for that inclusion. I feel included at where I work. I'm literally the only Muslim female at my workplace. And I'm being allowed to dress like a Muslim, with my scarf. And that is not only, me dressing as a Muslim is diversity. They have accepted who I am. But also the fact that they listen to my opinion, they call me and ask me of my opinion, they allow my voice to be heard. And that is inclusion. And so for me, I feel it in every aspect of what I do. I feel it at work, and I'm so happy when I come. However, I think my work or my workplace can do better. When I say can do better, now we are located on the 5th floor, and we don't even have access for people with physical challenges to access the stairs. They use the wheelchair. So we need a wheelchair pathway. That is one thing I think my organization is lacking. But I think we are getting there. It is not a one-day fight. It is not a 2-day fight. It is a gradual process. And the fact that they are even giving me a listening ear is something I am proud of. And I'm sure in no time we will get there. Yeah, thank you.
Great. I don't know. I missed you. I missed some points of your submission, but nevertheless, to our audience out there, I hope that the flow is coming. You can hear us clearly, and it's not cutting. Sometimes it buffers at my end. I don't know if they are having the same experience. Kindly let me know in the comment section if the telecast or the broadcast is coming clearly. And please do well to drop your comments. Let's know what you think. If you're a Gen Z, do you agree with what Michelle, what Nana, and MFA are saying? If you have let us include you in this discussion. Actually, we have made this for you. We also want you to be part of it. I have Gloria, I have Pearl, I have Dorcas, I have Olivia, another Dorcas, Nicholas, Edward. Please join in the conversation and let's know what your take is on this. Right. So let me go to Michelle. Michelle, when it comes to diversity and inclusion, what is it for you? And does it really matter?
Yeah, it really
Michelle.
matters. So I want to use. Hello, Habna, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it really matters.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it really matters because I want to use where I work as an example, Absa Bank, for instance. So when there is a meeting or a team meeting or presentation or something, we the Gen Zs, because we've been involved in such, imagine that they don't involve us in so many things like learning, their meetings and all those things. We wouldn't be able to present or maybe be involved in whatever the bosses and those people ahead of us are doing. But with Absa Bank, they involve us in their Udemy, I mean their current training and everything. Some of the things that the people at the top do, they involve with the Gen Z. So I can see that gradually we are getting there. They include us in everything, everything.
Mm.
So gradually we are getting there. They don't exclude us in anything. And with the diversity
But
too,
does it
whatever
matter
that
to
they,
you? Michelle, does it matter
yes,
to
it
you?
really matters. Yeah, it really matters.
So, Michelle, the question is,
Hello.
does it matter to you whether you are,
Yes,
yes, does it
please.
matter to you whether you are included and you are
Yeah,
respected
it
as
matters to me.
being
Yeah.
an individual? Does it really matter to you?
Yeah, it matters to me. So that when I'm
So
called to
if you go into a business, mhm,
so when I'm called for a presentation or a meeting or something, I can be able to voice out.
mm, mm, okay, okay. I think I lost Madina. Okay, she's back in. All right. So let me go on to the next career growth. Let me start, Nana. When it comes to career growth, does it matter to you the availability of career growth opportunities? Michelle, okay. Nana, does it matter to you the availability of career growth opportunities where you work? Is it something that will influence you working in an organization or otherwise?
Yes, Kwabina, career growth is important. In fact, we were born in a generation where, in a fast moving generation, a fast paced generation, we want it all, we want it. We are all about career advancement. I mean, I want to be able to have value addition. I want to be able to add value to myself so I can be I have some sort of a competitive advantage over my employees. Now, I'll take myself as an example. I started work as an administrative assistant, but look at me now. And so with HND, that's what I started. It was at that time I didn't know if what I was doing was really a characteristic of a Gen Z, but I just thought the edge. I just had that test to add value to myself, and so I decided to do my top up. Immediately after adding my top up, there was an opportunity for someone to enroll as an HR officer, and then I applied. And so after getting the job, I told myself, so you see, I didn't see that for the opportunity to come. I had to add value to myself, and when the opportunity came, I was ready. Now, that is the characteristic of a Gen Z. We are not waiting for those opportunities. We are preparing ourselves before the opportunity comes. And so I'm looking for organizations that will create that or give me that addition of career advancement. I want to be able to excel through. I mean, I'm seeing my manager, he's coaching me. Of course, I admire him and he inspires me. So I want to be like him. And I want to work in an organization that will provide opportunities like that. I want you to give us training, short courses. That is what we want, and that is what we are about, Fabina.
Right, Nana. That's interesting. That's all you want, and that's all you're about. We want to grow, and I can't agree with you on that. We really want to grow. Gen Zs want to grow. Looking at the rate at which technology is driving the space now, or the career space, if you are not growing within no time, you not become useful really. Now let me take some comments here. I have a comment from Scotia Aram. She says that current employers should endeavor to treat the different generations fairly. The Gen X's Ys should not try to use their training approaches to address the learning of Gen Zs. Gen Zs want money, and therefore you just okay, and therefore you just need to be sensitive to their needs to allow the best to your organization. Thank you very much for that, Scotia. Right. Let me hear from MFA when it comes to career growth opportunities. is something that really affects your decision on whether to move in or out of an organization?
Absolutely, Kwabena. Career growth opportunities is one critical component of we, the Gen Zs. So as a generation, we are constantly on the move. We are constantly craving for mentorship, support. We are constantly looking out for feedback. We are constantly committed to upskilling ourselves. And these days, we leverage social media to do all of that. The Udemy and all of those programs. So when we are even deciding to join a company, we want to be sure that such an organization would offer us opportunities for advancement in terms of our skills. We want to be better than we went in. We want to build our expertise, build our skill set. So upskilling and reskilling is one key thing we look out for. And in these current times, what we realize, or I think in a way, it will look like I'm for the other position. The point here is, when it comes to career growth opportunities, the responsibility that just doesn't lie with the organization, but also with you, the individual. And as Gen Zs, we need to understand that. Okay. So, and like Nana rightly stated, if you don't prepare yourself, if we don't prepare ourselves to get this opportunity, there is no way we will end up getting this opportunity. So whilst the company or the organization has a responsibility to build our expertise, give us opportunities that would make us better, we have to be willing to develop ourselves to an extent where we can get these opportunities. But the good thing is organizations that prioritize learning or prioritize building the expertise of their employees, it is very attractive for we, the Gen Zs. We like to be affiliated to companies like that. So most of the time, even in we making applications to such firms, we want to be sure that when I go to this place, there's an opportunity for advancement. I mean, Dr. Basi always says that an organization cannot grow beyond the collective growth of its employees. So if you're a company or an organization and you're not committed to, upskilling and reskilling your employees, it means that your organization will literally not grow. The advantage we have as Gen Z is that even outside of our work, we still learn. We still leverage social media, we leverage technology to better ourselves. And I think it's about time where companies or organizations, HRs, managers, engage with the Gen Zs on that personal level to understand where our skill set is, what are developmental priorities, what are we looking at upskilling, and see how best they can tap into these skill sets to better the organization and also help them meet the bottom line at the end of the day. So you realize that it's going to be a win-win situation when management is passionate about what the Gen Z at the workplace is doing to better himself or herself and how best the organization can come in to support. So it is very important that we admit that some organizations take keen interest in supporting staff and staff generally to take on professional programs who are building the expertise and give them that support. So for Gen Zs, we see that even if we don't get that opportunity with the employer, we would want to look at other mediums to better ourselves. So absolutely, career growth opportunities is very key to with the Gen Zs.
Yeah. I tend to hear one thing flowing through the all the panelists' submission that I keep hearing. So it's for me, it seems as though for the Gen Zs, they always want to have a win-win situation. It's not just about the employer, it's not just about them, but both parties should win. But that Gen Zs seem to be in a hurry and they want to get a lot too quickly. Feel that they are not patient enough to grow, and especially staying in one position. As a Gen Z will spend like maybe 3 years on the average in a company to move on to the next. So some can even spend a year to the next. They do not have their tenacity to hold on when things are not going their way. They always want to have things move the way. To be your take on that, Nana. Then I'll come to Michelle.
Kwabena, it is not us. I need you to understand this. Look at the generation we were born in. We were born in a fast-moving generation, a fast-paced generation. Everything about us speaks speed. Everything about us speaks fast. That is who we are. And I don't think that we should be blamed for always upskilling or reskilling, learning and unlearning. I don't think we should be blamed for moving further if we keep bringing innovative ideas. I don't think we should be blamed for being us. So really, it is who we are, and we can't change it. Don't say, I know. Look, I know people are calling us. In fact, that is another name. They're calling it curious people. We are so curious. We want to learn, and when we learn, we want people to see it. We want to impact. We want them to know that we know it. We've learned it, and this is the solution to it. And I don't think we should be blamed for moving speedily or climbing the ladder speedily. Like I am a first in my organization. When I say a first, I was basically promoted very early, unlike others.
Banana, what do you think of this? If do you feel that Gen Zs now have a lot of information and they're able to assimilate more than so they don't need so much time to be at one place to grow, but because they have a lot of information, they assimilate more and they need more room. Place is not enough for them. They want to grow, they want to move. Okay, so there's that school of thought, and there's another school of thought that if you don't sit in a position, that's knowledge. That's the knowledge that you gain from doing something repeatedly. You get it? So if you're in a particular organization, after doing some things repeatedly, processes, and you can be more effective and efficient. Just opposing these two school of thought, which will you go for and why?
Thank you, Kobina. I will go for the former.
So the latter motion that
let's go.
Let's go. I think you understand this.
Yeah, I'll go for the former. And I'm telling you that, look, I was born in a world of information. I was born in the era of information. I am literally surrounded by information. I need something. I just need to do a tap or just do this, twist my hands, and I have it. Now, that doesn't mean that I should also not be humble to learn. But I'm saying that I am learning at a faster pace. If it took you 10 years to learn in my world, it should take me 1 year to learn, because that is the world I was literally born in. Look, I have adjusted to it. I don't know how or the word to use. Really, I go with the former school of thought, because I see myself as an example. I see myself as a first. I was literally promoted very early, and not because the system is being biased, no, but because I have proven them beyond doubt that I am ready and I'm the right person for the job. And even after the position, I'm showing it. So it's all about what you are bringing. It's all about proving them that we are saying we want.
It's all about what you're bringing. Let me get Michelle. Yeah, let me Nana, let me move to Michelle. Michelle,
of course,
what would be your take on this, that Gen Zs are always in a hurry? They'll not sit at one place to learn. They always want to move because probably they think it's because of the money. Okay, so for you, what's drive that would propel you to move? Oh, I've lost Michelle. Okay, MFA, I'm end of the question. So for you, MFA, what would be that drive that will propel you from one job to the other? Is it just about the money, or is it about what you are gaining, or what?
Okay, great question. So I believe that the employer-employee relationship is about value addition. And as much as the employee is there to provide value or provide service, the employer is there to reward and compensate the staff or the employee for the service rendered. So if, as a Gen Z, you realize that you are not getting the value you anticipated to get, for me as an individual, what will compel me to leave an organization are a plethora of reasons. One, I want independence to work. And Gen Zs, we're looking for autonomy. We are looking for flexibility. We don't want to be in an environment where there's so much micromanagement, even though we have the capacity to listen, learn, and submit. We want to be given some room to innovate, to be creative. We don't want so much tabs to be kept on us. We want to be given that conviction and that confidence that we can get the work done. And that would not say that we wouldn't make mistakes. There is that degree of not getting it right. But we have to get to the point where Gen Zs get that autonomy. So if I'm in an environment where I don't get that autonomy, that independence, I'm not trusted to deliver, it will cause me to move. I also want a supportive manager. Whoever I'm working with has to be supportive of me, of my contributions, has to be committed to mentoring. Because as Gen Zs, we are constantly looking out for mentorship. We are constantly looking out for support. We are constantly seeking feedback frequently. That would help us better our work. And it is very critical because it helps us establish ourselves in the organization. And inclusivity is also one key thing. If I'm in an organization, and exactly, if I'm in an organization where I don't feel included, I don't feel heard, I don't feel represented, I feel drawn back, I feel isolated, it doesn't propel me to stay. And also work-life balance. There has to be that kind of flexibility. We have to get to the point where the employer wants to see that, MFA, so what time works for you? I know you're passionate about writing. I know you're passionate about YouTubing. So where can we meet you in terms of the hours? You know, you have to meet these tasks. You have to meet these deadlines. So how best can we meet you at your point of need and get to the point where we have a win-win situation? So that is the point we are challenging the system to get to, where managers tend to have that one-on-one engagement with employees and find out what works for them. Find out what works for them in terms of schedule, because these are critical things. And, you know, we want transparency. Most of the time, there is so much, information is not so much released, okay? You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think as Gen Zs, when we find ourselves in the company, we want to know what's going on. We want to know that we are contributing to a larger purpose. And we want to know how our small efforts, our creativity, our innovation is impacting the larger purpose. That's because we actually want to feel that we are part of something bigger. So if I find myself in an organization where I don't feel that my contribution is contributing to the larger purpose, then you feel isolated. So those are the critical things I would look out for, or that would propel me to reconsider if I'm in an organization that is not giving me that.
Right. I like the trend of conversation. I'll just share a story that a friend shared with me, where she went for an interview, and the interviewer realized that she was doing a lot of other things. So they're straight in the face that when you get this role, you have to stop doing all the other things and concentrate on this. Definitely for a Gen Z, she will not be interested in such a position, because it's not looking at her as an individual. The person is not looking at ways that they can accept her for who she is, and integrating, trying to cut her off what she likes just for them to hit their bottom line. And I think that's something that I can see a trend in your submission. Want a win-win situation, So I'll take a few comments here, and then I'll come to Michelle on the matter of career growth, whether it's to otherwise. Let me read this comment from Henrietta. Gen Z are very aggressive and always want to grow. So career progression is paramount for them. And Ruth says that, yes, I can hear them clearly. And to add on, I think companies should ensure the diversity and inclusion starting from the recruitment process. Imagine being denied of a role because you are from a particular ethnic group, and I wish it is not happening in today Ghana. For me, Gloria says, Gen Zs are always looking for, we are constantly developing ourselves. We are always we always involve ourselves in training opportunities or programs with very loud we are very loud about outcomes. Yeah, we ask if this we are really involving ourselves. Okay, we ask if this we are really is really outcome based, or we ask what we are involving ourselves is really outcome based, how it is going to add on. And fortunately, managers are getting to know this and are giving room for this. All right. Let me get Vanessa. Vanessa says career advancement and growth is very necessary because we don't want to be stuck in a cube. We would want to be associated with organizations that have training and development sessions and better ourselves in the field. And this is coming from Michael. I quite understand that most Gen Z in life with regard to this. For me, I prefer that companies should appreciate employee developing himself for related skills and qualifications through promotions or even salary increment and even salary increment. Okay, that's your opinion. Don't worry, it's your opinion. We appreciate your opinion. Michael. Phyllis says she has said it's well. And Abina says MFI is absolutely right. All right. Okay, so Phyllis was saying that she has said it way. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Kindly keep them coming. Let's have an interactive question session. We just have about 15 minutes to wrap up. Now, let me hear from Michelle. Michelle, how important is career growth to you in selecting a place of work?
Okay. So Gen Zs are very highly ambitious and they value career growth and opportunities, and they always want to develop their skills and advance in their careers.
Michelle,
And
are you
also,
speaking? I can hardly hear you.
hello, can you hear me? Hello, Kabna. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So I'm saying that Gen Zs are very highly ambitious and they value career growth and opportunities, and they always want to develop their skills and advance in their careers. They also want to pursue a very new learning skills and achieve their goals. So what I think that some organizations should do in order to attract Gen Zs is that they have to organize mentorship programs, or they can also offer a school growth or anything for their Gen Zs in order to be able to maintain them. And Gen Zs always find themselves doing so many things. Gen Zs are very independent. They don't want to do one thing. They always want to be doing different things. Gen Zs don't want to stay in one organization or one department for a very long time. They always want to change. For instance, if they're in an account opening department, they would like to change and go to IT just to learn something new for their career growth. And they are always ready to learn and develop opportunities for themselves. They are always ready to develop opportunities from their employers too as well.
Right.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Yes, Michelle. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So we have about 40 minutes to just take a few. We'll take some two questions, and then we want to hear from um, our audience online. If you have our panelists today, I mean, they are Gen Zs. If you have any question to ask them, and the floor is open, you can just, if you want to make any contribution as well, the floor is open. Right. Let's talk about this, and I think we can call it a wrap. Salary, salary. How important to work in an organization? I hear people say that forget about who you are becoming. You have fees to pay. I mean, you have bills and you are becoming something. How do you become if you cannot pay the bills? Exactly. So how do you become if you cannot pay the bills? So on the back of that, how important is salary to you, relative to personal growth in an organization?
Is that question for me, Kwabena?
Yes, Nana, the question goes to you first.
Right. For me, I'm saying that why can't we have it all, Kwabena? Why can't I have a good salary and also have the opportunity to grow in my career? Why can't we have it all? After all, we are Gen Zs. Um, I know the millennials or the generation that comes before us would most probably go for career advancement or getting the experience first, which is okay. But we are Generation Z, and we are saying that we are not going to choose. We want it all. We want a good salary. We want the career advancement. This is what we want from you. I mean, the organization wants what? 100% productivity. We are not saying we want this and we are going to lie down. We will give you the 100% productivity, but also give us good salary and give us opportunity to grow in our career. Well, I don't know about my other colleagues, but me, sincerely, these are the things I look out
Okay,
for when
thank you.
in case I'm going for. These are the things I'll be looking for in case I'm going for a job interview. Or I'm looking for good salary and I'm looking for opportunity to grow. I want it all. After all, I am a Gen Z. Yeah.
I like how you started it. Why can't I have it all? All right, MFA, let's hear your take on this.
Great. Thank you so much, Governor. So, you see, you don't even have to call it salary, because salary is just a section of compensation. We are looking at benefits. We have to look at the entire scope of compensation. Okay, as a Gen Z, when I'm thinking of joining a firm, I'm not just looking at what I'm taking home. I want to see other opportunities. And even before I consider that, whatever amount the company is willing to give me, I would first of all calculate my transportation. For the week, multiply it by the number of days, if it's 27 days or 28 days in a month. See how much transportation is actually taken from the salary, and seeing how much food is going to take from the salary, and also seeing how much I can use to further my professional programs or my professional development, even before what you even would want to think of supporting your family with. Because yes, some of us might not have gotten married, but some of us we are very responsible. We are taking care of our parents, we're taking care of our siblings and all of that. So all those things are looked at in perspective. So compensation and financial security is critical to we the Gen Zs. And I don't think it's only for the Gen Zs, for the entire generation. Who wouldn't want to have a good compensation? Who wouldn't want to be valued for the contributions? Who wouldn't want to be paid for the work that they have done fairly? Okay, so it's not like we want more. There has to be fairness. It's only nice and fair that if an employee worked hard, pulls their weight, and meets their targets, they are compensated fairly for what it is. So for we the Gen Zs, you find out that we mostly stick around with companies that offer us financial security, companies that offer us stability, coupled with flexible working hours. Okay, because at the end of the day, when the working hours is flexible, we are able to leverage that time to pursue other interests. Okay, we normally call it portfolio career. So somebody would love to be emceeing, somebody would like to be writing, somebody would like to be doing other things that they can get money from those things to augment what they are taking as their take-home pay at the end of the month. So if organizations really want to retain we the Gen Zs, they have to show a renowned commitment towards compensating us fairly and giving us adequate compensation that would propel us to really be productive and give off what we need to give off. So I think that's the point we are trying to get to.
So giving adequate compensation,
it's critical.
And if I have to break you at this point, you have just a few minutes to wrap up. So I hear you say that it's not about salary alone, but compensation. So that it's not like we are young and we don't have any responsibilities. Some of the Gen Z have a lot of responsibilities that they are paying attention to. Okay, I hear you, MFA. Michelle, what would be your take on this? Let's 2 minutes, and then we'll take some comments, and then we'll wrap up.
I think my colleagues have said it all. Who would they want to have it all? Like Nana said, or MFA. Yes, most of us are very responsible, taking care of ourselves and many other things. So I think the salary is very important. You calculating your transportation, your lunch, and everything else. You should have a little for yourself, for your school, and other petty things. And it's not also only about the salary, your experience, and how the company is going to make you grow. Like the company is going to make you learn a lot of things, not just in one department, but different departments, having mentorship programs, the flexibility in the workplace. it shouldn't all be about working and not even. Sometimes you can stay at the workplace and close like 6, 7, and you wouldn't get an overtime. The Gen Zs will not be comfortable with that. So I think the salary and even the overtime is very important. Me, the salary is very, very necessary to me. Yeah, it's important.
Mm.
And it also motivates you. When the salary is enough, it motivates
I
you.
hear you, Michelle. I hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your. Yeah, yeah. The salary is indeed motivating. It's indeed a motivational factor, and I hear you say that. Even the responsibilities that you are taking care of, and you also have things that you have to take care of. It's not like you are just living with your parents, but you also have need money to be taken care of. Thank you very much, Michelle. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, MFA. Very, very, very candid opinions, I must say. Have some comments I have in the comment section, and then we'll call it a wrap at 5 o'clock immediately, or exactly. Phyllis, I have Phyllis here. Phyllis said that we should also take this from another side. Not all Gen Zs are ready for growth. That's true. That's true, Phyllis. Not all of them are ready for growth. Okay, she has another comment here. Some are just okay at where they notice them, provided they are working, but to have to maximize their growth or capacity don't have that mindset or goal. How will an organization build that in so no, let me take that again. How organize that in so doing, they even think is a waste of time. Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. So even the Gen Zs feel is a waste of time. I hear you, Phyllis. Pearl, most at times Gen Zs are difficult to manage. Wow. I think that Gen Zs require a lot of skill and tact to be managed. So sometimes managers who do not want to pay enough attention to them might find difficult. They are quite complicated. Yes, they are not as easy to manage as the previous generation because of the information available to them. That's Phyllis again says, Ish, Madina. I'm sure when you're talking about salary, having it all. All right. So Doka says Gen Z is a career growth opportunity and can stay in one place for long and can't stay in one place for long because the world is a continual flux and the future belongs to those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn. And honestly, with the work-life balance, we are going to for it because Gen X and Y kind of confuse busy with productivity. You can spend long hours at work and you are not being productive. So why can we agree on a flexible work or why can't we agree on a flexible work arrangement and have a win-win situation? Finally, from Michael. Michael says pay for performance aligns employees' compensation with their contribution. They will produce. Okay, so sorry, pay for performance aligns employees' compensation with work, so they will produce more to receive more pay. Most compensations and good prospects by companies to their Gen Z employees are below the average market rate and expectation. One fact about Gen Z is that they tend to get higher salaries when they switch jobs until they feel comfortable with the pay or compensation given for job satisfaction. I hear you, Michael. Thank you very much, our online audience for contribution. They were very amazing comments that we've heard here. And as I said, all these conversations we've had into the research work we are doing on managing Gen Ys and Gen Zs. And for us, it's about the information. For us, it's about how the Gen Zs, for us, is what they expect from their employer, and what we are also doing for the Gen Ys, what they expect from the employer. At the end of the day, so that when managers, supervisors, or employers are dealing with these generations, they will come from a place of information and not from a place of judgment. So for us, that is the the objective for all these discussions we are having. So thank you for your discussion, or your contributions will go a long way to make the HR ecosystem, or the ecosystem, a better place. All right, so I just have 1 minute, MFA, so you can say what you want to say in and call it a wrap.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So I want all of us to appreciate the fact that Gen Zs we are not saying we are the best of all the generations. There are just some key characteristics that stand out with us. And the key changes we are asking for is actually not going to benefit only us, but the entire generation. We are pushing for our mental health. We are pushing for time to pursue personal interests. We are pushing for time off. We are pushing for flexibility. We are pushing for autonomy. We are pushing for independence. We are pushing for inclusivity. We are pushing for authenticity. And ask yourself, when these benefits are realized in an organization, is it just benefiting the Gen Zs? No, it's literally going to benefit the entire organization and the entire generation. So I think all generations should rally around Gen Zs and make sure that our organizations reinforce or push for these changes, so that at the end of the day, we reduce the mental health stress, we give time for people to have meaning in the work and also have meaning in their own personal life. So that at the end of the day, there is that equilibrium that is rich. In the past, it's been said that we cannot reach equilibrium, but really, we actually can reach that equilibrium. So thank you so much, Governor.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Emefa. Thank you very much for that closing remark. We do well to keep our conversations within an hour, and it's exactly an hour. Thank you all. Thank you, MFR. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Nolan audience, who made this conversation very interactive. We will certainly come again with a conversation, probably with both Gen Zs and Gen Ys, or we can have a conversation. What the Gen Zs want, what the Gen Zs expect from the Gen Ys, or what the Gen Ys expect from the Gen Zs, and we can get an ecosystem that would bring about productivity and growth, and bring, most importantly, the win-win factor in what you do. This has been a production by the HR Certification. My name is Kwabena Nyamiche Dapa. I'm the marketing manager at the HR Certification Center. Thank you very much for joining us, and please do well to share this broadcast. Let the conversation, subscribe to our platform if you haven't, and also share and become a follower of our platforms on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you. It's bye for now.